Good morning or good evening, depending on where you are. I'm Dr. Ruth Anderson with Enlightened World Network. We're here for our daily guided meditation, and our guest today is MarBeth Dunn. Now, MarBeth is an energy management specialist, a mentor, and a spiritual teacher for over 30 years. MarBeth, we love having you here with us on Enlightened World Network. Thank you for joining us.
I'm so grateful to be here with you today.
So Marbeth has already been meditating, so it's up to us to catch up with her at this point. So Marbeth, why don't you just go right back in and just take us to where you are?
All right. So, why don't we sit up straight? The energy always travels so much better up your spine and moves so easily when your spine is straight. And I'm just going to shut off any bells and whistles that could be going off. There we go. Okay. And put on a do not disturb, and I think we should be good. There we go. So sit up straight and tuck your chin in a little bit. This is the neck lock in yoga. It's called the Jalandar Bond. And when you tuck your chin in just a little bit, it makes the back of the neck straight as well. And then the energy again can flow easily up and down, which is what we want. So close your eyes. Just be still for just a moment. And just bring your awareness down into your hips and your butt where it is aligned with the chair. And just feel that connection. And from your hips and your butt, just allow roots to grow down through your legs, through your feet, down into the earth. And just feel the grounding move as you move down into the earth, all the way down into the earth, to the center of Mother Earth, and let any cares or stress just flow down through your legs, through your feet, into Mother Earth. And we bless Mother Earth and so many thanks and gratitude for everything that you do. Feel that gratitude. And we'll just move on up to the second chakra and just bring our awareness there. We connected to the earth through the first chakra and came grounded. In the second chakra, we're just going to be experiencing it. You may see it as an orange, and it spins, which you may or may not see. You might have a sense of it. It's just a couple of inches above the first chakra, between, maybe a hand's width below the navel. And we're just going to send love and blessings to this chakra and to the space around it. Center of creativity. And again, this is a place where if you're empathic, that this is the seat of it. And some people see it as a place of relationships. I actually tend to see that more in the third chakra, yeah. And so with the love and blessings that we have for both chakras, we're going to move up into the third chakra, which is above the navel. It's a place of centering, a place of your will. And it's a place of our own power. It's a power center. And we put our blessings there and around it, because there's always a beautiful space around us. We're not limited to our physical form. We're going to move on up to the heart chakra. And in the heart chakra, we find so much love and gratitude. It's the center of our divinity. Just feel that love within your heart and feel that love without. Because the more love that we extend to others, the more we have inside. It's the essence of who we are. And this is the central location of the love. It's also our links to the divine. It's a very powerful chakra or energy center. And it's right in the center of our chest. And moving on up, and its color is emerald green. It's very beautiful. The solar plexus below was gold. We're moving up into the throat chakra, which is blue. Very beautiful blue, celestial blue. And in that throat chakra, we find our emotions. We find our creative voice. And we're just appreciating and loving that throat chakra and the space around it. Just sit there for a moment, love and appreciate it, and move on up to the ajna, our third eye, between the brows, and actually back a little bit towards the center of your head. And we are there, loving and appreciating the center of our intuition and the space around it. And then we move up to the crown. Oh, and the ajna was a beautiful, beautiful purpley blue, deep, deep. And then on the crown chakra, a beautiful light lavender. Again, this is the gateway. 1,000-petal lotus. A beautiful way to welcome the divine. And I want to move us back into the heart. And as we're in our heart, you can place your hand over the heart. Bring your awareness underneath your hands and just feel that warmth under your hands. Think about something that you love, something that really touches you, brings you into a space of gratitude and appreciation and love. And it may be a loved one, and that could be a human, and it could also be a pet, a beautiful puppy or a kitten, bird. It doesn't matter. Just hold that space of love. And then we're going to let that love expand all around us like a beautiful bubble of love that's just moving out, all shimmery, filled with love, extending outward. And we extend it outward throughout our humanity, all the humans on the planet, with everything that they're experiencing. We can surround them with love and appreciation, because every single one of them is a brother or sister. And there may be those that we don't like. There may be those that we really don't like. And yet these people that we don't like or really spark anger and hatred, these are our greatest teachers. Because we are all siblings, all one. And you can pick someone that you don't like, someone who might be creating a great deal of emotional charge within you when you think about them. That's the right person. Then they may have harmed you. They may have hurt you grievously. And yet, we are still brothers and sisters. And I truly believe that everything that happens comes from love, although that sounds rather difficult to understand. But we are light beings. We are one self, united with our Creator, this beautiful, beautiful self. And these human forms that we inhabit for a while are like a role that we play in a theater. We come from a place of love, we make agreements with others, and then we move into these physical forms to play different roles. And so if you take someone that you have emotional charge with, it doesn't have to be the one that you have the most emotional charge with, but just someone that when you think of them, you know that you don't like them. And just imagine that they're at a safe distance from you. And you are just sending love. Just sending love. That's all. And you're saying to them, I'm willing to let this go. That doesn't mean we need to justify or accept anything that they've done. But we are removing any leg chains or any way that we are connected to them. We're letting it go. We're releasing ourselves through the act of release, the act of forgiveness. We are releasing ourselves from prison. But just feel that. You just need to be willing. You don't have to do it right now. It may not be the right time, but just to have that willingness to see them a different way and to see yourself as free. Moving up into a place of love, because that is where we connect with our infinite being. And we are all connected. We are all leaves on the tree of humanity. We are all one. So being able to, we all have them. There's always someone that triggers us. If you can just remember, this is my teacher today, and I don't have to condone anything that they've done, but I can surround them with love. And I can let that go. And it doesn't mean you ever have to associate with them, but you're releasing your attachment to any anger or pain. And the more of this attachment to anger or hatred or pain or victimhood, the more we release it, the freer we are, the more elevated we are, the more that we tap into the infinite being, the oneness that we are. So, holding that space of love, bring that love within yourself. See the beautiful love and light flowing into the crown of your head, moving into every cell of your being. Every cell. See it as tiny, tiny, infinitely tiny molecules of love permeating every cell, sparkly, little sparkles filling you up. Feel that sparkle. Feel it elevate you. Feel it with love and appreciation. Let it expand and fill you up. The whole physical form. Feel it filling up with love. Feel it filling up with appreciation for the love. Feel it extending beyond you. Feel it extending out throughout your auric field. a space of perhaps 9 feet around you, just filled up with liquid golden love. Let that love fill you up, healing any holes or tears in your auric field, elevating you to a place where you're open to seeing things through the eyes of love, where even people who might have triggered you before, you can see with love and compassion. Feel that love. And now let's extend that love even more throughout humanity, throughout Mother Earth, throughout the heavens, throughout our solar system. You can envelop every planet and our sun in love, throughout the galaxy, the universe, and just feel the love in everything. Our universal connection to who we are. And just sit in that love for a moment. And then very gently move back into your physical form, bringing all that love with you. Feel the expansion. Feel the peace as you move into that physical form, wiggling your fingers and your toes as you come back into the here and now.
MarBeth, it would have been so easy just to stay there.
You can. You've brought it back with you.
That was wonderful. Thank you so much. I took a couple of notes, some couple things that I wanted to just touch bases on. So when you got to the throat chakra, you talked about the emotions of the throat chakra, and I normally think of emotions being in the second chakra,
Yes,
but of
but if you
course,
notice,
yeah,
as an empath, because I always feel where people are holding their stuff, the emotions are always there because people they clamp down on them. They don't want to express them. But once these emotions, we start to acknowledge them, they dissipate. They're like little clouds. They fly away, and but I always feel them in the throat. I don't necessarily experience the chakras like other people do. For example, like relationships, most people say that second chakra. I feel it in the third.
oh, interesting.
Yeah. But isn't that interesting? Because usually it has to do with will and it has to do with our interconnection with other people. So, who are we in that experience with them? I always feel that in that third chakra.
I can see that. Yeah, yeah, I can see that. I wanted to talk with you just a little bit about energy.
Sure.
Of course, so easy to talk with you about that. I had been called in this morning to a nearby high school to
Oh,
help clear out some of the energy that was in there, and it was fascinating. One of the things that I really felt, they have lost several folks there, folks that have passed away on site, and I was able. It wasn't that I was able; it was like front and center. I mean, I walked in and boom, they
yeah.
evidently were, and not in a bad way. Interestingly, not in a bad way at all.
Hmm.
One of them was a teacher, and last time I had been in and cleared the building was about 2 years ago.
Is this
And
Columbine?
no, no. And I saw her in the hall, in the
Yeah.
same hallway that she had taught in so many years. And she just felt like a really warm presence
Okay.
being there. And this morning I saw her again, and I could see what she was adding to that building by having her presence there, touching students. So that
Oh,
was,
beautiful.
and two of the boys that had passed were still there. Security guard who had passed was there, still in the front of the building. I mean, it was so rich. And some of the other feelings that I experienced while I was there, a great deal of despondency on behalf of some of the young men,
Hmm.
and rage on behalf of some of the young women. And it was really interesting. But I was just reminded about energy and how it can stay
Hmm.
in a building or in a
Yeah.
site. So, talk to me about energy and how you have experienced it in buildings or at places.
Well, interestingly, in my previous home was 5 blocks away from Marjorie Stoneman Douglas. And I was there when the shooting occurred. And I have learned that immediately I need to just send love and energy to surround a situation. I did not go to the building. It wasn't the right time. I needed to work more remotely. But what was interesting is when about 2 weeks later, I was doing yoga in the morning, and all of a sudden I couldn't breathe. It was around 9 o'clock, and I realized, oh, the kids are back in school. I couldn't breathe, could not breathe. And so the next morning, the same thing happened. And what it was that, we're patterns of light and information. And if you have a resonant pattern that what they were feeling, they were experiencing trauma and fear and panic. And somewhere I had a resonant pattern, and even though I kept sending love and peace, it did not clear it. I had to actually go to a friend, and we removed the pattern, and then that was fine. And so, and then another thing that happened, I received a call maybe about a week ago, and a friend of mine in Oregon was she was kind of frightened because there were some entities in her home, and so I checked in, and I basically was trying to find out what they wanted there, and she was having manifestations upstairs when she was downstairs, and her dogs were barking, and she went outside because it was kind of um, disruptive for her. And then she went back inside, and she heard kind of like a whoa. And so, so she called me. And so I checked in, like, what they wanted. And it wasn't anything that was going to be helpful for her. And they didn't need to be there. So I just sent them to the light. And and that was all. She sent me some flowers, unexpected. But the thing is that energy lingers, and we're all patterns of light and information, and we never die. So some of us may be stuck as spirits, and some of us stick around maybe to help other people, or if there's something that's not resolved, they can stick around as well. I used to love to watch Ghost Whisperer. Did you ever watch that?
No, no.
She would, find out what the story was with these ghosts who stayed after, and they always had some unresolved issue that she would help them resolve, and then they would go off to the light. It was a show that was, I think, produced by James Van Praagh.
Oh, sure, sure.
Yeah. And the thing is that just because we may pass in the physical, it doesn't mean that our issues are gone. We may still be stuck in old patterns. So um, there are ways to clear buildings. And I've learned to do that. If I'm going to travel, I'll, clear the space before I even get there. I don't want anybody else's stale energy.
Do the hotel room before you walk in. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I do. If I remember, sometimes I forget, and then it's like, okay, I got to clear it. But and then we have our angels and our fairies, and they can blaze the path and just keep everything safe. I had a weird my daughter several years ago was one of my daughters was visiting, and her sister was home, and I got a call from my younger daughter who was in Santa Fe, and she would go upstairs, and her bedroom was downstairs. As soon as she went upstairs, the radio went on, and it happened several times. So something was trying to get her attention, and at that point, I didn't know, you know, how to ask, what's going on? What do you need? I just checked in. Is this someone that we know, that's passed? And I went through the list of people that I thought it could be, and this person was not on the list. So I sent her to the light. And then afterwards, what it was my daughter who was visiting, her mother-in-law had died, and her animals were in the house, and she was trying to get Chelsea's attention so that her dogs would be taken care of. And I totally blew that one. And so I'm very careful now to find out, who are you? What's the message? And clearing the energy. I don't see them as you do, but I do feel, and I'm able to connect in that way.
Yeah, it's a seeing, feeling thing. Yes,
Yeah,
it's
no, I
kind of
get that.
pull them apart to see, yeah, exactly what it is. But sometimes it isn't a person. Sometimes it's an attribute. So
I know.
when we bought this home, we're not big drinkers. We just aren't. And when we bought this home, immediately there was a, oh, let's have a party and let's, have wine and let's just, have a good time.
Let's cut loose.
And and I thought, well, that's odd because that's we don't do that. And then we had gone on vacation and we went to a winery and I bought literally like a case of different alcohol drinks and had them shipped to this home. And I thought, why am I doing that? And I got in and finally got to really spend some time in the home. And I thought, now that's coming with this house. There, that energy is here. And worked on clearing that and got it cleared. And I realized the older daughter that had been here in the home was sneaking alcohol in the house and had issues with alcohol. And that energy stayed in the home. And of course, we've got two young women in our home. So I'm really thankful. I mean, if I could feel it impacting me, and I'm pretty aware of why I'm doing what I'm doing, I can only fathom the impact that could have on kids who really aren't aware
Sure.
what they're doing. And that wasn't an entity. That was just energy. That was
Yeah.
not.
Was it, or was it a thought form?
Yeah, right, right,
Yeah. So I mean that happens. There's a lot more to our being than our physical, obviously.
right. So, and then we'll wrap up here. But MarBeth, can you tell us for folks that are empaths, folks that are sensitive to other energy, do you have any suggestions for them on how they could just kind of steel themselves so they're not just walking in and being blindsided by other
Absolutely.
energy?
I put myself inside an Iron Woman costume. I don't do it all the time. I mean, for the most part, I'm so much better, but there are people that can get me.
Mm.
And so the Iron Woman costume, or even a disco ball where the
Yeah.
mirrors are reflecting everything out and you're only allowing in love. Excuse me. So Yeah, those are beautiful ways to protect yourself because it's really intention. But I love, especially certain things when I'm working with people that have patterns, they have like or patterns of energy and information. Some of these patterns can be pretty powerful, and I don't really want that energy in me.
Right.
So if I suit up before working with them, maybe pulling them out of people, and so I do that because it sometimes you just have to be more careful, and uh, and it's a lot easier to protect yourself beforehand than
Right.
it is once that energy has gotten in.
Right. Right.
Yeah,
And
but I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I work with the angels a lot as well. Archangel Michael, Archangel Raphael, and Earth angels. So if I feel like I'm going into a unknown, unsure spot, I'll just ask them to be right there with me. And I find that their energy is such a high vibrational frequency that it just kind of it shines the light and everything else just kind of scatters. So I I call on that as well.
Yeah, yeah. I had a lady, I was working with an acupuncturist for a while up in New Jersey, remotely, and she would refer her clients to me that, if they needed to have some depossession work. And, I had one that was a yoga teacher who had gone down to Peru and had a bad feeling, but, she was out in the bush and she had a bad feeling, but she had to go to the bathroom. And then she connected with something. She had chills, and
Mm.
the um, the medicine doctor, had worked on her, but she came back. Her whole personality had changed. Her marriage was under threat, and I cleared her. It was just, it was like, wow, something can just take over. So it's really important to protect yourself when you're going into a place that you don't know. I know I tend to be clairsentient, so my body will warn me if
Mm.
I'm going into a place where I don't feel where that might not be safe. Now, the issue is that I don't always listen. And but I've learned to, because when I don't listen, then I'm sorry.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, this is so interesting. Marbeth, if people want to learn more about you and what you bring into the world, how do they find you?
Oh, you can find me on Facebook. I'm MarBeth Dunn. You can see my name. And also, my website is marbethdunn.com. So you can book a consultation with me for free at marbethdunn.com/consult.
Excellent. Marbeth, thank you so much for being here today.
Well, it's always fun being here with you, Ruth. And I just want to say, because we were talking about some of the weirder stuff, that really the angels are here. They're full of love. Spirit is here, and love will protect you. You know, let love guide your way.
Yep, that's beautiful. Let love guide your way. Yep.
Yeah.
So thank you so much, friends. Thank you for joining us today. So much love to each and every one of you, and we'll talk to you soon. Take care.